Alright everyone, Toneboosters has stepped on the releasing legacy plugins trend as well and released legacy plugins. You can find them here and I will test them now with this beat. Okay, let's go. Okay, I cannot find them by just typing in Toneboosters. So I guess I have to find them in the list. But please consider that I'm still quite new to Bitwig. In Cubase you can always just type in the developer name, and for some reason the plugins from the developer will pop up even though the developer name is not in the name of the plugin. In Bitwig you have to navigate the browser, which is quite a powerful browser, but unfortunately it also leads to me sometimes not finding the things. Let me pause the stream for a while until I figured this out. Okay, I just fiddled around with this and found out that they pop up in Cubase but not in Bitwig. So now I will check out what the installer tells me where the plugins supposedly have been installed. First of all, I like that that this installer installs all of the plugins at once and that I don't have to install them one by one. But what I don't like is that it does not let me. Oh yeah, it lets me look at the current position. Okay, it's one of these old school types of installers where you have this weird menu that does not let you see where exactly it puts the stuff without navigating these kinds of menus. I mean, sure, yeah, it will be installed, but my question is, where will it be installed? It's kind of like not answered by this installer, which makes it a little bit less useful than it should be. Then I will just find it by brute force. By just typing in the name of one of the plugins, how it's probably called. It's apparently not called TB_vocal, also not TB vocal. Okay, that's bad. Maybe I can find it when I call it pitch DLL or vocal pitcher DLL. That should find at least the ending of the file name, I guess. No, it does not. Okay, I just found them. They are installed to command files VST2 in here. So I suppose I just have to add this path to my Bitwig VST paths. But I have to say that this is not really a folder that anyone uses, I think, because most VST2 installers just make either a VST2 or VST folder right in programs or in programs 68 or 86. No, I apparently don't have a VST folder in here because it is usually, yeah, it's Steinberg and then VST plugins, because it's sort of part of Steinberg, the fact that VST plugins can exist or something like that. Or maybe it's just because I never really installed a VST2 plugin into a different folder than the Steinberg VST folder, since that is just the one that was provided by Cubase as well. I don't know. I just never heard of the command files VST2 folder before, so that was confusing. One of the reasons why VST3 is actually a good thing. I do like my old VST2 plugins, but it also makes sense that they invented the VST3 standard. It makes things easier. Anyway, I can say one other thing about all this though, which is that I personally like to not have installers when it comes to VST2 plugins, because with VST2 plugins you are just used to take the DLL and put it wherever you want. Using an installer is not really a VST2 thing in my opinion, that's a VST3 thing. Now let us take the plugins, check out where they are, or actually we have to add the folder. See, even the default folders in Bitwig say that command files VST2 is not a thing, so I think I'm onto something here. That was really confusing. I don't think the developer will change that because the plugins are legacy, but maybe they will consider that for the future if they don't have already. So for this purpose we will just add this folder. It doesn't hurt anyone. It's not real. Yeah. So, I have to rescan probably. How do I do that in Bitwig? Rescan, where's rescan? Or maybe I just reopen the door. Okay, I hope we can start now. TB. Oh yeah, that's nice. You can actually see all the plugins lined up nicely. I always like when I can do that and when I don't have to use these menus and stuff. So let's get started. Barricade. On which track are we, by the way? We're on the bass. I think this is a limiter or something, so let's just drive the input. Let's turn all the stuff down so we get the most rough sound that we can imagine. Oh, we can work with ceiling instead of input gain. That's also very nice. So this is the worst sound that you can get from this plugin and it still sounds kind of nice. And now we can dial in the niceness again. Wait, out ceiling is the out gain knob. It's not meant as an input threshold thingy, so we cannot use that for that. Okay, I know a limiter is usually meant for different things like mastering and stuff, especially with this dithering stuff that barely has any effect. I think I'm turning it off so that it doesn't waste my CPU when I can't hear it anyway. But it sounded nice on this stuff as well, so that's pretty cool. Let's go on. TB broadcast. What is this? It is a multiband compressor, it seems. Let's try that on a different track, like the Quantic one. The Quantic one is this harmonic sample. First of all, can I solo the tracks? Yes, I can. I cannot drag this because the plugins are old. Hä? Okay, crossover filters. What is this? I don't know. This is automatic gain compensation. Apparently it is not a set value, but something that moves. So let's rather not use it, because it's like another compressor on top of this, which is not desired now. Why does this thing not move? Eh? Oh. I'm very confused by this plugin. I don't know what side means here. I don't hear it go more on mid-side, side direction. What is ambiguity or what? And what is density, but density of what? I don't hear an effect of that. That's kind of weird. Also, I'm not a fan of sliders, especially not such small ones that you can barely grab. Like, I know this is an old plugin, but even people back then already had better ideas how to make controls nice. But not entirely. Like, it was very common in these days that you had a multiband compressor be split up like this, so that you had to go to a whole different section of the UI to change the crossover filters all the time. This is common, so this is definitely not something that you can blame anyone on. But still, the workflow of this thing is kind of weird. I mean, in a compressor you would expect attack and release parameters. I don't find them, and I thought that side and ambiguity is sort of something similar, maybe, something to compensate for the lack of attack and release. It sort of isn't, so I don't know what the deal of this thing is. I think it actually did something and I was able to use it somehow, but it was also confusing. So I don't know what the concept of this thing is, or if broadcast people understand it better. Let's go on with the bass compressor. Okay, this is already a little bit better. You can see I can even drag something on the UI itself. Of course, it's still a little bit old, Because nowadays, when you have such functionality, you can drag way more stuff, like in this kilohertz plugin, for example. But it's a good start. Whenever this came out, it was definitely already moving forward in terms of technology. Why though? You can really see that this is an old plugin, because when you hold shift and mouse wheel, then it works, because back then people did not make their plugins with juice yet, so they did not deal with juice and being able to have shift mouse wheel on their sliders for some reason, which is very funny. And now back to the disadvantages of old plugins. They use image strips, so when you are just moving the parameter slightly, then you get sometimes no new image, only when it's far away enough so that it makes sense to draw another image. But it doesn't seem to be a problem here, because you can always see the value written below. And I just noticed that I always look at the value when turning the knob, not at the knob itself. So it sort of works. I like the concept that the compression stops at very high values again. I don't know yet why that might be useful, but it feels kind of cool. I have some problems with these knobs here. I don't know what they exactly do. They just seem to change the sound very slightly. Makes it hard to tell what exactly is going on. HQ? Sounds almost the same, probably some oversampling stuff also. Let's just keep it in there. I like that. It's a bit confusing, but I like it. Now TB Compressor. suppose it's also a compressor. Oh, it has different modes. Let's try it on something different though. This sound is already so compressed that you can barely hear what's going on. So I just figured out, why don't we make a nice little group for the drums. Group. Okay, we now have a drum group. Oops, wrong compressor. Even though it says bass compressor, it would make sense to have it on a group, but we want to go on with this video, so let's test the compressor. Wait up. Does the kick have a click at the end? No, I cannot leave it like this. That does not sound nice. It is in fact not a click, but it is annoying that the high frequencies are so dragged out. So I quickly have to fix this. Sorry for interrupting this session with this now, but I did not see that or hear that before, and now suddenly it kinda came into my perception that this is the case. So what I do against that now is lay out a little MIDI track with the same rhythm and let it sidechain a filter. Sidechain the filter. This filter can have an input of some MIDI. Is it this? No, wrong. Wrong MIDI modulator. This is the right one. Okay. And now we send this instrument to our kick. Let's see if this worked. No, it didn't, because the kick wants to have an input. I still don't understand why I can set an output from the MIDI track, but it only works when I set the input from the other track. Like, what is the difference? If I assign the input or the output, should both work in my opinion, but it doesn't. So input, oh no, it asks for an audio input. Then how am I going to do that? That's kind of weird, to be honest. Also, why can't I put the record thing on this track? That's kind of weird. Is that part of the reason why it doesn't work? No. But it's weird. Why is that? Why is it like that? I don't understand it. Seriously, what's going on here? What? Okay, I cannot set a MIDI input here. I can... Okay, fuck this. I will solve this some other time. Now I will use the cheap solution, because I want to go on, where I just put audio sidechain on the cutoff. But I don't like this solution because audio sidechain can be a bit sloppy since it reacts to audio. Also, envelope followers are always a little bit behind, so they don't actually catch the transient. And also, if the transient of the thing is the thing that you want to make lower in volume and use the same transient to detect the transient, then that's kind of pointless in some way. Which makes this very frustrating now. Seriously, I am a bit annoyed. Like, what is going on here? Is it one of the plugins that disturbs the action? No, it is not. Let me pause the shitty video. Okay, I did not figure out why this MIDI routing thing didn't work. I figured out that the input did not work because I had no input selected. And now I just decided to make it a layered track where one of them is a transient. The other one is the low stuff. And together it sounds pretty nice. Now we can finally go on with why we are here. Now, this plugin does not have a bypass button in it, and that's kinda sad because for some reason Bitwig does not have a bypass button on its plugin wrapper window, which is a shame because a lot of plugins don't have a bypass button. The plugin that I wrote also doesn't have a bypass button because Cubase has a bypass button and I did not consider that to be a thing. But apparently it is a thing, so I will consider bypass buttons in the future, just saying. This sound is quite hard on my kick, in my opinion. I want to know if this is also the case with other compressors or if that's because of this compressor. This compressor sounded nice on the kick. Let's try something drastic. Also sounds kind of crunchy on the kick. So apparently this kick still needs some work, regardless of this compressor. But yeah, I just tried this compressor and it has a certain sound. Oh, it's off. Maybe I should take the kicks actually out of the drum bus so that it's kind of a separate sort of drum thing. Would kind of make sense since kicks always play a special role in such contexts. Yeah, now they don't have the group as input. Great, now let's go on. De-esser. Yeah, makes a lot of sense. I mean, it's a de-esser. Makes sense on shakers. We were right on the right place to test this. And the controls are very nice. I like the listen. A very interesting design decision to put the range stuff so that it kind of implies that the normal values of the knobs are in the middle, even on something like attack and release, where you would expect that there is no range for the middle. Like you normally see that on a mix knob maybe, where the middle is kind of the normal position and the left is an extreme position and the right is an extreme position. But in this case, it's just to show that these are the values that are expected to be the most sensible in most cases. I think sometimes it seems a bit less careful, like stereo link. I don't see why stereo link might be the most desirable thing on 50%. I find myself usually turning it down completely or up completely, or something very similar to that. So maybe I'm just not that used to mastering and stuff. But that is just how I feel about this knob. Let's go on. TB Dither. As I said before, I'm not a mastering engineer, so I don't know if I can get anything out of this, but let's see. Okay, as I said before, this, I don't know, dithering is just not something that I'm very interested in because it barely has a sound. Let's go on. EBU Compact. Sounds very professional. Okay, it's some loudness metering or so. Not interested in loudness. I'm more interested in flavor. Again, not interested in loudness. I do have Yulin loudness meter, but I basically only have it because of the dynamic range option that you can turn on. Oh, they changed the interface at some point. Where did they put the dynamic range thing then? Here. Or was this was the dynamic range one? And currently tells me that there is a lot of dynamic range, probably because it's not on the whole master bus. Actually, let's, while we're at it, check how it currently looks on the master bus. Usually the plugin is not very happy with my settings because I like to crunch stuff. I'm surprised even the YouTube standard would now say that this is a good level. Apparently my mixing skills are now superb. Anyway, okay, let's go on testing those plugins. I've wasted enough time, I think. TB Equalizer. Okay, I wanna stop it. Why does it not stop? That's something that I'm very confused about with Bitwig. Usually I was able to drag knobs on this thing and then press space whenever I want. But for some reason in Bitwig I always have to, I mean in Cubase I could do that. And now in Bitwig I always have to click on the Bitwig interface. As long as the plugin has the keyboard focus, Bitwig cannot stop playback. probably it would be good to change my workflow from pressing space to always going up here with my mouse. But then I don't see the point why I always have one of my hands on my keyboard. So please, Bitwig developers, I know you have this cool structure where plugins have their own process, and probably that is the thing that gets in the way here. But if there is a way to solve this, please do so, because having one key on the space button in order to stop or start playback that can be a very good workflow. Okay, let's see. Oh, nice. Again, I cannot change my workflow to go up here, even though I have to click in here anyway, so why not just up here? So I really have to learn that now. Different types of bells. Oh, cool. I wanna see how different they look. Analog bell, digital bell, look the same, probably sound different. Probably some saturation stuff. I wanna get rid of this bell. Can I turn it off? Maybe just by selecting digital bell and oh yeah, it snaps. Okay, that's cool. Mode, LR sum, yeah, speed, but speed. Why speed? Oh, it has actually has a spectrum analyzer. I haven't seen it. Okay, I don't know where the spectrum analyzer is. It probably exists, and I just didn't find the way to turn it on. But yeah, I mean it's an equalizer. It's a bit like Pro Q in the style, but Pro Q is just more advanced, and that's why I will probably not use this plugin. But it's a good plugin, I think. So if someone does not have Pro Q, then let's go. Evoke. Okay, let's not get into this now. I can see what it is. It is a channel strip with a gate, a compressor, a de-esser, and an exciter, which is saturation. I suppose it's useful, but I have tested enough compressors now. Let's go on. Oh yeah, that's actually one of the plugins that I saw in the screenshot of the article that showed me that they released their legacy plugins. That really made me want to test these plugins, because I like the idea of dialing in a certain flavor with an XY pad. Let's do that on some other track though. For example, the bass one. When I made the kick a little bit smoother before, I noticed that it makes the bass come out too hard. So let us actually try to fix that now. Juice developers, see how it is done. You can even mouse wheel, not mouse wheel drag, but mouse drag and sensitive mode shift, hold shift for sensitive drag on an XY pad like here. That is something that is usually forgotten. Like sometimes people are smart enough to come up with the reason that that they want to have sensitive mode on knobs and stuff, but when they start making XY pads, they just completely ignore that topic. Toneboosters know how it's done. So let's go on. Ferox. Okay, this is a compressor again, and yeah, I don't want to check out different compressor flavors. I would need a whole different material for that. Like you should go to the channel of this one. Oh, why did I forget his name now? Kush After Hours. He always has very good examples for when to use compression. And then you can also check out different compression flavor very nicely. But I just crunch everything to death, and then the different subtleties of compressors are not very nicely highlighted, so I will not go into that. Oh, and I'm making an exception here because this is a dynamic EQ, which is kind of something special. Very interesting. I don't know why I cannot use the release knob, but I also do not care too much. It's interesting that you can go like even down with the compressor transfer function. I will have to experiment with that more. Now, one thing is that I don't like so much is that the names are not very catchy. I clicked on the same thing twice now. No, 3 times. I thought that was the one. Probably almost the same. Gate. Okay, I cannot check a gate now. I don't have tracks that need a gate at the moment. iZone, what's that? Oh yeah. That is the simulation that I saw in another video where someone reviewed these plugins. It's meant to let you listen on headphones on different pseudo environments, like a large room. Anechoic room, just nothing. They added that for the lols, I suppose. Oh, that's kind of cool. I don't want to look for a mix knob. I'm not sure if there is one in this. Let us just quickly lay out a layer thingy. Doesn't sound so nice in the context of the rest of the music now. So let's just ignore that. But I did like the sound in solo, so I suppose I will use that on some stuff. It's just hard to use something like that on a bass line, so because it's kind of reverberant. Mid-side transformer. Oh yeah, that is very useful. If for the ones who don't know, you can transform something to mid-side, apply any processing in mid-side space, and then transform it back to left-right. As easy as that. I would have to find a little example for that now. Let's see. Here we have these shakers, and they are kind of panned to the left and the right a little bit. So if we put a mid-side transformer in here and then apply, let's say we apply heavy distortion only to the right channel, like so. And then we put another mid-side encoder there. And now compare. See, so now I only applied it to the right channel, which is the side channel in mid-side mode, while the left channel is the mid channel when you have something transformed to mid-side. It's not needed in Spectre because it has mid-side itself, but if you have some free plugins that don't have mid-side, go for it. Now let's go on. TB module. Okay, I saw this plugin, it has modulators and then you can do different stuff with it. That's too much for me now. Real bus. Okay, guess it's just another one of these analog emulation compressors. As I said, that's too much detail for me now. Reverb. It is a very metallic sounding reverb, so I will probably use it more on some cold sounds like synthesizers and stuff, not a warm funky drum set, but I do like it. I like that all of the parameters are actually smooth. You can turn them and they will do something reasonable. Because sometimes in reverb plugins it is not the case and you can only move the parameters and it will have discontinuities then. Which is okay too for a reverb, but not ideal. TB sibilance. Okay, well, I already applied a de-esser to this, so I guess I don't need this anymore. Also, it looks more complicated than the other one, even though it looks more modern. Gives me kind of a more intimidated feel now. Time machine. Oh, nice. Let's try this. I want to try this on my Quantic sampler. Nice, nice, nice. And now, last but not least, I will have to sing again. But I don't want to. Test, test. Okay. Let's just pretend like I can sing. I guess I just mute or just stop the recording for a while. I would just put carry on my voice. I think that's nice, I guess. I can sing, but it is alright. I think I will stand the fight. I would just put carry on my voice. I think that's nice, I guess. I could sing, but it is alright. I think I will stand the fight. I would just put carry on my voice. I think that's nice, I guess. I can sing, but it is alright. I think I will stand the fight. I would just I think that's nice, I guess. I can sing, but it is alright. I think I will stand the fight. I would just put carry on my voice. I think that's nice, I guess. I can sing, but it is alright. I think I will stand the fight. I would just put carry on my voice. I think that's nice, I guess. Good enough. Now let us actually put the last plug-in on it. That's something that I was looking forward all the time already. I can sing, but it is alright. I think I will stand the fight.
I would just put carry on my voice.
I think
That's nice.
I guess. I can sing, but it is alright. I think I will stand the fight. I would just put carry on my voice. I think that's nice, I guess. I can sing, but it is alright. I think I will
Stand the fight. I would just put carry.
on my voice. And think that's nice, I guess. I can sing, but it is alright. I think I will stand the fight. I would just put carry on my voice. And think that's nice, I guess. I can sing, but it is alright. I think I will stand the fight. I would just put carry on my voice. And think that's nice, I guess. I can sing, but it is alright. Whoa, 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 let's make this a chorus plug-in with layer. This is going to be a lot of fun. Boom. Playback. I can sing, but it is alright. I think I will stand the fight. I would just put carry on my voice. And think that's nice, I guess. I can sing, but it is alright. I think I will stand the fight. I would just put carry on my voice. And think that's nice, I guess. I can sing, but it is alright. I think I will stand the fight. I would just put carry on my voice. And think that's nice, I guess. I can sing, but it is alright. I think I would stand the fight. I would just put Kerui on my voice and think that's nice, I guess. I can sing, but it is alright. I think I would stand the fight. I would just put Kerui on my voice and think that's nice, I guess. I can sing, but it is alright. I think I will stand the fight. I would just put Kerui on my voice and think that's nice, I guess. I can sing, but... This plugin is the coolest plugin of all of these plugins. This thing is so cool. To be honest, I expected the formant thing to be more of a real formant switch thingy, like in Rovi. If you know Rovi, the little Kerui one.
I can sing, but it is alright. I think I will stand the
Which is a full-blown formant control, as you can see. But it's still cool, like this way to pitch things. It's very easy to use. I don't need the gate, to be honest, because it's kind of radical. And I don't know why it's here, probably to save CPU or something. I think I will just always turn it off. And it's cool that this is a thing that you can turn it off. Formant control seems to just slightly correct or compensate for the pitch changes, which is cool. Then you can dial in the wet mix if you don't use a layer container or something. And then you can do cool stuff like subtle chorusing or putting it an octave down to give it strength and stuff. Can also do that now. Let's also add a layer like that. Why not? Let's go. I can sing, but it is alright. I think I will stand the fight. I would just put Kerui on my voice and think that's nice, I guess. I can sing, but it is alright. I think I will stand the fight. I would just Kerui and think that's nice, I guess. I can sing, but it is alright. I think I will stand the fight. Just put Kerui on my voice and think that's nice, I guess. I can sing, but it is alright. I think I will. And so on and so on. I have so many ideas. For example, I could on each of these layers I could put vibratos, and then it will like make it even more fluctuating, and I'm looking forward to do that. But time's up for me now, and I think this was a good overview about the plugins. On some of them I was a bit critical, maybe a bit more than I should, for plugins that are legacy and not supported anymore anyway, that are basically the past. But as you can see, even old plugins can be super fascinating and inspiring. You just have to dig through all of them and just find the ones that resonate with you the most. And some of you might have a lot of fun with all these subtle differences in compression. And my thing is just formant filters and vocal pitching and stuff. I'm also looking forward to try this on whole different instruments, maybe even on drums. Who knows what happens on drums? I will not find out now. You can find out yourself if you're interested. See ya.